This podcast is sponsored by Release Winery. Every wine tells a story. Join us as the story of this ultra-limited wine continues. Learn more at releasewinery.com.
Patricia, my wife, and I retired a second time, and we talked to Katherine at the time. We said, you know, we can either build a house that you're not going to like and want to sell when we pass away, and we're going to buy a car that won't be worth anything in a few years, but there are other things we'd like to do. And Katherine said, well, you know, we've always planted grapes wherever we've been. We worked with Louis Jardin at the Biltmore House when he was back in the 80s, when he was the winemaker there. He actually, I would suggest that Louis Jardin at the Biltmore House actually started the Eastern Seaboard in all of its winemaking. He was just so good. We had a chance to work with him with his vats and in the vineyard and other locations as well. So when we came here, Katherine and we all decided we would plant. And in 2010, we purchased our vineyard land, which is beautiful land, perfect for what we're doing. We first planted muscadines, and we decided against that because...
Well, Mom did. She doesn't like
She doesn't like the muscadines.
She signs our paychecks, so we said yes.
So we...
She
oh, no, you got to tell her that, please. We planted hybrids instead, and we planted a red, which is known as Lenoir, and we planted a white that looks like a Chardonnay cluster. It came out of the University of Florida. Mm-hmm. And so our whites, we have two whites that are made out of Blanc de Bois, and all 7 of our reds, their base wine that we use is Lenoir. In Texas, it's known as Black Spanish, but it's the same rootstock that was sent back to France in the 18th century to save the French wine industry. It was the Lenoir rootstock that they grafted all of the French onto to save the industry. So it has a long history.
Yes, we're studying together.
Yes, we're studying with a Master Cordon Sommelier. So, and Katherine is just amazing already. So I know she won't have a problem.
Well, I like to drink wine, and it helps. But we'll be the father-daughter sommelier team. Well, it helps that we're surrounded by it all the time. So it's not like we're in the medical field and now we're going to go try to do this. It's the language it's always around us, and we're fascinated by it. So that also helps. You know, you're not bored by what you're learning about. You're actually have this hunger for it, and you get to taste wine. So
once again,
people always ask me, how do you taste all these different things? And I liken it a lot to ballet. It actually helps me explain to people. You train your palate, so you learn how to pick up flavor profiles, and it's just acquiring knowledge and what those flavors taste like on your palate and how you can then express them. It's just like training for dance or for any other discipline. You just have to learn. So to me, when I taste things, I almost see pictures, and because smell is, of course, the highest. Memory.
Sure.
So I get memories that way. You know, we have a very beautiful restaurant. We call it fine dining. We're all dressed in coats and very well put together. And so when people come in and they see this 273 bottle wine list, and they kind of get overwhelmed. And even those who know their wines get overwhelmed. And so I just remind people, the best wine is the wine that you like to drink. It's okay. If you like sweet wine, then that's going to be the best choice for you. Hey, let me pick the best one for you. Let me help you find what you want to have. And other people, you just remind them, it's by country, it's by this, but what are you looking to eat? Because wine is meant to be with food. Wine, that's what... When I kind of compare between America and Europe wines are meant to be enjoyed mostly with food. That's why they originally were developed. And American wines, especially California Cabernets, are very ego-forward wines. It's about me, and I'm the Cabernet, da, 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 da. So it's what experience you want, but in the end, it's just going to be a good glass of wine. And it's okay. It's just a glass of wine. We try to do a very warm approach. I'm not very you can tell. I'm not a very stoic person. I try to really read the table. I joke around with them, and I kind of educate them in a very gentle way. And even those who know exactly what they're talking about, they feel more comfortable. Once you make the patron feel comfortable, then their wall comes down, and they're willing to learn and hear.
One thing that Katherine does, too, is that I've noticed that when folks come back, particularly the ones that have been here the first time, maybe, and they're still a little reticent to pick a wine, when they come back, they'll say, well, Kat knows what I like. And could you look at Kat?
Oh shoot! What did they drink? I have to remember real quick.
Oh, nice.
It is a responsibility, you know, when you own a restaurant like this, and when you're training to become a sommelier, you are accepting the responsibility of that patron's experience, and how they, you know, you just want them to have a good time and enjoy. Food is meant to be shared and enjoyed, and wine is meant to enhance that. That's all that we're doing. You know, that's the bottom line of it. So the better that you can do that, that's what our goal is.
Well, actually, it was when I was first dating Catherine's mom. We went to a very, very good restaurant, and I realized that there was a somm there. And I was talking with the sommelier at the time, and the recommendations based on the food, I thought was amazing. I was like everybody else. I would look on whatever shelf of the local store and try to pick something, and people normally, which is good marketing, people normally pick the label rather than the wine when they do that. And so you never really know, particularly those that are there and just getting something for dinner. They just pick something quickly. I was in that category at that time, and I was really impressed by this young man, and he was very soft, very kind, and then he would, what food did I want? At that point, Patricia and I started planting our own vineyards wherever we were while we were out in higher education around the country. And that started to train me. And then I started working in some of the vineyards and in the wineries that were in the locale that we were in when I had the time to do that and be trained. And that's when I first began to realize that wine is a wonderful experience for anyone if they don't think that it's a challenge, that there's something so unique to this that I could never do it properly, or I get so embarrassed, etc. The other day, I was in a local grocery store, a high-end grocery store, and I had the coat on, and this young lady was standing next to all the wine counters. I was walking down the aisle, and she stopped me. She said, "Oh, you're from Katya. Pick me a wine for dinner."
I didn't know that.
And I was going, well, what are you going to have? And then we went through that, and we had a really nice conversation, the same conversation that Katherine mentioned, that the best wine is the one that you like.
Just because you don't like a Lafite Rothschild, you prefer Moscato, doesn't mean that you're not a wine drinker.
Yeah.
You know, that's what people need to understand. Web address is www.katyavineyards, with that S on the end, .com.